The show kicks off with a surprising yet strangely captivating performance from Michelle Branch, who takes the stage under a swirl of colorful lights to perform a cover of Slick's classic wrestling theme, Jive Soul Bro. The audience, initially puzzled by the choice, quickly warms up to Branch's unique acoustic rendition. Her smooth voice and the unexpected twist on the iconic theme set an intriguing tone for the night, blending nostalgia with a fresh, modern twist. By the end of the performance, the crowd is clapping along, thoroughly entertained by the genre-bending start to the show. As the final chords of Jive Soul Bro echo through the arena, the camera pans to the commentary desk, where Mr. Feeney, Jim Ross, Elvira, and Pauly Shore are seated, ready to guide viewers through another unpredictable night of 14-12 wrestling. Mr. Feeney, ever the dignified presence, nods approvingly at the performance, while Jim Ross leans forward, ready to dive into the night's action. Elvira, dressed in her signature gothic attire, flashes a wry smile, her eyes twinkling with anticipation. Pauly Shore, unable to resist the vibe, gives a playful nod to the camera, mouthing, "Jive Soul Bro, dude!" before throwing his arms wide to welcome the viewers. Welcome, everyone, to another wild night of 14-12 wrestling. Jim Ross booms, his voice filled with excitement. Last week's chaos was off the charts, and tonight we're in for even more. Mr. Feeney chimes in, his voice steady and authoritative. Indeed, last week left us with more questions than answers, but tonight we're going to see some of those questions resolved. We've got a tag team championship match that promises to be a battle for the ages. And let's not forget the competitive eating championship, where Heifer Wolf will defend his title against the legendary Houdini. Elvira leans in, her tone dripping with intrigue. And if that's not enough to keep you on the edge of your seat, we've got a main event that will determine the next contender for Majin Buu's 14-12 championship. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Bars, the Minotaur, and John Locke. Only one of them will get the chance to face the most dominant champion we've ever seen. Pauly Shore, always ready to lighten the mood, grins and adds, "But let's not forget, dudes, we've also got some pre-taped craziness coming your way. Mr. Feeney's going to be interviewing Majin Buu at a farmer's market, and I'm sitting down with Earthworm Jim. Who knows what kind of weirdness we'll get into?" The camera shifts back to Mr. Feeney, who adjusts his glasses and nods solemnly. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's not forget what happened last week. The golf cart, led by the chaotic duo of Gary Busey and the Iron Sheik, have set their sights on the tag team championships held by Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Tonight, they'll go head-to-head in a match that could redefine the landscape of 14-12 wrestling. Jim Ross, ever the storyteller, picks up the thread. "You're right, Mr. Feeney. This isn't just about titles. This is about legacy. Jordan and Pippen, two of the greatest athletes of all time, are facing a team as unpredictable as they are dangerous. And with Dennis Rodman and John Stockton in their corner, anything could happen." Elvira, her voice rich with suspense, interjects, "And let's not forget the other matches lined up. We've got Topanga Lawrence taking on Alex Mack, Sean Hunter facing off against Firebrand, and a brutal Memphis street fight between Jeff Jarrett and Elvis Presley. These are the kinds of matches that leave a lasting impact, that create legends." Pauly Shore, ever the wild card, can't resist adding, "And how about Vegeta versus Santa Claus, huh? That's one match I didn't see coming, bro. The Prince of Saiyans against the jolly old man himself, with the on-point kings ready to stir up some trouble. Man, this night's gonna be nuts." Mr. Feeney, ever the professional, brings the focus back with a serious tone. But as much as we're looking forward to the in-ring action, let's not overlook the stakes of our main event. The winner of that four-way battle will earn the right to challenge Majin Buu for the 14-12 championship, a title that's become nearly synonymous with dominance. Jim Ross nods, his voice full of gravitas. Majin Buu has been an unstoppable force, but Stone Cold Steve Austin, Bars, the Minotaur, and John Locke all have their eyes on the prize. Each of them is dangerous in their own right. And tonight, we'll find out who has what it takes to step up and challenge the most destructive force in 14-12 wrestling. As the camera zooms in on the commentary team, the energy in the arena is palpable. The stage is set for an unforgettable night of action, and the commentary team has done their job in hyping up the stakes. With the fans on the edge of their seats, the show transitions seamlessly into the first match of the night, leaving no doubt that tonight's episode of 1412 Wrestling is going to be one for the ages. The camera zooms in on the ring, where Daphne Blake stands poised with a microphone in hand, ready to announce the first match of the night. The energy in the arena is electric as the crowd eagerly anticipates the Tag Team Championship bout. Ladies and gentlemen, Daphne begins, her voice clear and confident. The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the 1412 Wrestling Tag Team Championships. Introducing first, the challengers, representing the golf cart stable, accompanied by John 420, the Minotaur, Bobby Two Beers, Bart Gunn, Alex Trebek, Greg Biffle, and thousands of ancient Sumerians wielding chainsaws. Gary Busey and the Iron Sheik. The arena erupts into a mix of boos and cheers as Gary Busey and the Iron Sheik make their chaotic entrance. John 420 leads the pack, puffing on a massive joint, while the Minotaur stomps menacingly behind him. The rest of the golf cart stable, including the thousands of ancient Sumerians wielding chainsaws, follow, creating a scene of complete and utter chaos. The chainsaws roar, adding an extra layer of danger to the proceedings. Mr. Feeney shakes his head at the spectacle. This is absolute bedlam, and the match hasn't even started yet. Jim Ross nods in agreement, his voice tinged with concern. The golf cart stable is known for their unpredictable antics, and tonight looks to be no different. Jordan and Pippen are going to have their hands full. As the chaos unfolds in the ring, Daphne continues. And their opponents, accompanied by Dennis Rodman and John Stockton, they are the reigning and defending 1412 Wrestling Tag Team Champions. Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. The arena lights up with cheers as Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen make their entrance, flanked by Dennis Rodman and John Stockton. The champions walk with confidence, their tag team championship belts gleaming under the arena lights. The crowd roars as Jordan and Pippen acknowledge their fans, knowing they have a tough challenge ahead. Jordan and Pippen, two of the greatest athletes to ever step foot in a ring, Elvira remarks, her voice filled with admiration. But tonight, they face a challenge unlike any other. Pauly Shore adds with a grin, "Yeah, bro, they've got the skills, but can they handle the craziness of the golf cart? This is gonna be wild." The bell rings, and the match begins with Pippen and Busey squaring off in the center of the ring. Busey, ever the unpredictable wild card, rushes at Pippen with wild strikes, but Pippen uses his agility to dodge and counter with precision. The crowd cheers as Pippen gains the upper hand, sending Busey stumbling back. Jim Ross calls the action Pippen showing why he's one half of the tag team champions. His athleticism is unmatched. Busey, however, isn't easily deterred. He tags in the Iron Sheik, who storms into the ring with fury. Sheik immediately goes for Pippen's legs, attempting to lock in the camel clutch early. Pippen struggles, but with the crowd behind him, he manages to crawl to the ropes, forcing the break. Mr. Feeney observes, Sheik is a master of the camel clutch, but Pippen's ring awareness saved him there. The match quickly devolves into chaos as the golf cart stable begins to interfere. The Minotaur climbs onto the apron, roaring and distracting the referee. Meanwhile, John 420 and Bobby Two Beers slide into the ring, attempting to ambush Pippen. However, Dennis Rodman and John Stockton are quick to respond, rushing into the ring to even the odds. A massive brawl breaks out, with fists flying and chainsaws roaring. Elvira's voice rises with excitement. This has turned into an all-out war. The referee has lost complete control. In the midst of the chaos, Jordan is tagged in, and the arena erupts as he takes control. With his trademark speed and precision, Jordan takes out John 420 with a clothesline, sending him crashing out of the ring. He then turns his attention to the Iron Sheik, who has Busey back in the ring for a double team. Pippen quickly recovers, and the two champions start to rally. Jordan lands a powerful punch on Busey, sending him reeling back into Pippen's grasp. In a display of their incredible teamwork, Pippen lifts Busey into the air, and Jordan follows up with a perfectly timed alley-oop slam. The crowd explodes as Jordan goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3. Jim Ross's voice booms. It's over! The champions retain! The referee's hand hits the mat for the 3 count, and the arena erupts in cheers as Jordan and Pippen secure the victory. Daphne Blake raises the microphone. Here are your winners, and still the Fort Shadwin 12 Wrestling Tag Team Champions, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. However, the celebration is short-lived. The golf cart stable, angered by the loss, begins to surround the champions. Chainsaws buzz ominously as the ancient Sumerians close in. But before they can strike, Rodman and Stockton leap into action, taking down several members of the golf cart stable with powerful punches and well-placed kicks. Jim Ross yells into the mic, "Rodman and Stockton fending off the golf cart! This is pandemonium!" Mr. Feeney, ever the voice of reason, adds, "It's a good thing Rodman and Stockton were here tonight, or the champions might not have left with those belts." As the golf cart stable retreats, licking their wounds, Jordan and Pippen raise their belts high, standing tall with Rodman and Stockton by their side. The champions have not only retained their titles, but also sent a clear message to anyone daring to challenge their dominance. With the crowd chanting their names, Jordan and Pippen exit the ring, victorious and still the reigning champions. The first match of the night has set the bar high for what promises to be another unforgettable episode of 1412 Wrestling. The camera cuts to the ring where Daphne Blake stands, microphone in hand, ready to announce the next bout. The crowd buzzes in anticipation as they know what's coming, an eating contest of epic proportions. "Ladies and gentlemen," Daphne begins, her voice clear over the murmur of the crowd, "the following contest is a steak eating competition for the 1412 Wrestling Competitive Eating Championship." The audience roars with excitement as Daphne continues. Introducing first the challenger, the master of illusion, the wizard of wonder, Houdini. The lights dim and eerie, mystical music plays as Houdini makes his entrance, cloaked in a dark robe. He steps into the ring, a confident smirk on his face, already planning his tricks for the contest. Mr. Feeney observes with a raised eyebrow. Houdini's no stranger to deception, but can he keep up with Heifer's insatiable appetite? Jim Ross adds, Houdini might be a master magician, but eating isn't about tricks. It's about pure, unbridled hunger. And his opponent, Daphne resumes, as the crowd's energy builds, accompanied by his best friend Rocco, he is the reigning and defending 1412 Wrestling Competitive Eating Champion, Heifer Wolf. The arena erupts as Heifer Wolf bounces out, full of enthusiasm, with Rocco at his side. Heifer waves to the crowd, his usual jovial self, while Rocco claps along, showing his support for his pal. The commentary team hypes up the match, with Pauly Shore noting, "Yo, Heifer's been downing everything in sight lately. I don't think Houdini knows what he's in for." Heifer grabs the microphone from Daphne and addresses the crowd with a grin. "You know," Heifer says, patting his belly, "I've eaten a lot in my time, but nothing compares to a good steak. And tonight, I'm going to eat circles around Houdini." The crowd cheers loudly, enjoying Heifer's laid-back charm. Rocco steps forward, giving his own words of encouragement. "That's right, Heifer. You've got this. No magic trick can beat your appetite." Houdini, clearly unimpressed, steps up to the microphone. "We'll see about that, Wolf. Tonight, you're not just facing an eater. You're facing the greatest illusionist in the world." With the formalities out of the way, the massive plates of steak are brought out, each heaped high with juicy, sizzling cuts of meat. The referee signals for the contest to begin, and the bell rings. Heifer dives in immediately, shoveling steak into his mouth at an alarming rate. Houdini, though a competent eater in his own right, struggles to match Heifer's pace. The crowd chants Heifer's name as he devours steak after steak, showing no signs of slowing down. Jim Ross provides commentary with excitement. "Heifer Wolf is on a roll. Look at him go. It's like he's been training for this his whole life." Elvira, impressed by Heifer's feat, adds, "Houdini might have underestimated Heifer's stomach. This is turning into a one-sided affair." But Houdini isn't ready to concede defeat. As Heifer continues to eat, Houdini discreetly pulls out a small pouch from his robe. With a sly grin, he begins performing sleight-of-hand tricks, making pieces of steak seemingly disappear from his plate. The audience gasps as Houdini's plate starts to empty at an unnaturally fast pace. However, Rocco notices Houdini's antics and points it out to the referee. The referee, suspicious, closely observes Houdini's movements and quickly catches him in the act. Mr. Feeney, stern as ever, exclaims, That's just blatant cheating. Houdini's trying to pull a fast one, but he's been caught red-handed. Jim Ross agrees. Heifer's winning this the right way, with sheer talent and an appetite like no other. The referee calls for the bell and disqualifies Houdini, declaring Heifer Wolf the winner by default. The crowd erupts in cheers as Heifer jumps up, raising his arms in victory, still chewing on a mouthful of steak. Daphne Blake announces, the winner and still the 14-12 wrestling competitive eating champion, Heifer Wolf. As the crowd continues to cheer, Houdini, frustrated by his disqualification, decides to use his magic on Heifer. He pulls out his wand and waves it dramatically, intending to cast a spell on the champion. But before he can complete the spell, Rocco steps in, bumping into Houdini and causing the wand to flicker wildly. The spell backfires, and suddenly, in a puff of smoke, Houdini is transformed into a giant rabbit costume. The audience bursts into laughter as Houdini, now trapped in the oversized rabbit suit, tries to free himself. Heifer and Rocco, seeing the humorous turn of events, can't help but chuckle as well. Pauly Shore laughs hysterically. Bro, I've seen some crazy stuff, but this takes the cake. Or should I say, the carrot? Elvira, clearly amused, adds, Houdini might be a great magician, but it looks like his tricks have backfired in the most hilarious way possible. As Houdini stumbles around in the rabbit suit, Heifer and Rocco celebrate in the ring, the crowd chanting Heifer's name. The champion has retained his title, and Houdini's attempt at trickery has literally turned him into a laughingstock. The segment ends with Heifer and Rocco exiting the ring, leaving Houdini to hop around in frustration as the show cuts to a commercial break. The scene transitions from the lively arena to a serene, picturesque farmer's market just down the block. The sun is shining, and the air is filled with the scent of fresh produce and baked goods. Stalls line the area, each overflowing with colorful fruits, vegetables, and homemade treats. The camera zooms in on Mr. Feeney, who is standing next to the imposing yet strangely childlike figure of Majin Buu. Buu, dressed casually in a bright pink shirt and loose pants, looks completely at ease, a stark contrast to the fearsome champion he is in the ring. Mr. Feeney, ever the professional, begins the interview with his trademark calm and respectful demeanor. Ladies and gentlemen, he starts, I'm here with our 14-12 champion, Majin Buu, at this lovely farmer's market. Buu, it's not every day we get to see this side of you. Tell us, what brings you here today? Buu, grinning from ear to ear, claps his hands together excitedly. Food! He exclaims, his eyes twinkling with joy. Buu loves food, especially sweets. They make Buu happy. His voice, though childlike, carries a hint of his immense power, reminding everyone that beneath this innocent exterior lies a dangerous force. Feeney nods, smiling at Buu's enthusiasm. I can see that. It's clear that food is something very important to you, but let's talk a little about your journey in wrestling. You've become the 14-12 champion, a title that many have tried to take from you. How does it feel to hold that belt? Buu's expression shifts slightly, becoming more serious. He looks down at the championship belt slung over his shoulder, patting it affectionately. Buu likes to fight. Buu likes to win. When Buu fights, it makes him stronger. And this belt? He pauses, his voice lowering as he considers his words. This belt shows that Buu is the best. But Buu knows there are many who want to take it away. Feeney, sensing a deeper layer to Buu's thoughts, gently probes further. Is there anyone in particular you're concerned about? Stone Cold Steve Austin, perhaps? He's been quite vocal about wanting that title. At the mention of Austin's name, Buu's eyes narrow slightly and a brief flicker of anger crosses his face. Stone Cold. He is strong. He doesn't give up. But Buu is stronger. Buu will keep fighting, and Buu will keep this belt. The intensity in his voice is unmistakable. Yet, there's a sincerity that suggests Buu doesn't just fight for the sake of fighting. He fights because he truly believes in his own strength. The camera follows Buu as he begins to walk through the market, with Feeney keeping pace beside him. Buu's eyes light up as he spots a stall filled with pastries and candies. He quickly makes his way over, grabbing a handful of treats with childlike glee. The vendor, a kindly old woman, chuckles at Buu's enthusiasm and hands him a bag filled with even more sweets. Thank you, Buu says with a wide grin, his mouth already full of sugary goodness. Feeney can't help but smile at the sight, the contrast between Buu's menacing presence in the ring and his joyful, almost innocent demeanor in everyday life being more apparent than ever. As they continue to stroll through the market, Feeney asks one final question. Buu, you've shown us today that there's more to you than just being a fighter. What are your goals moving forward, both in and out of the ring? Buu pauses, considering the question as he munches on a pastry. After a moment, he looks at Feeney with a surprisingly thoughtful expression. Buu wants to be the strongest, but Buu also wants to be happy. Food makes Buu happy. Fighting makes Buu happy. Buu wants to keep doing both. And Buu wants everyone to know Buu is not someone to be messed with. Feeney nods, clearly impressed by Buu's candidness. Thank you, Buu. I think the fans will appreciate getting to know you a little better. Buu nods in return, stuffing another candy into his mouth as he looks around the market with a satisfied smile. The camera captures this moment of contentment before slowly fading out, leaving viewers with a rare glimpse into the mind of the 1412 champion. The scene transitions back to the arena where the next segment is about to begin, but the image of Buu happily enjoying his day at the market lingers in the minds of the audience. The camera cuts back to the arena, and the atmosphere is already electric as Daphne Blake stands in the ring, ready to announce the next match. The crowd's murmurs grow louder as she raises the microphone. The following tag team contest is scheduled for one fall, Daphne declares, her voice resonating through the arena. First to make their entrance is the team of Nuclear Spawn and Weed Killer. The lights dim, and a haunting green glow fills the arena as Nuclear Spawn emerges from the shadows, his twisted, monstrous form highlighted by flashes of eerie, radioactive light. Weed Killer follows closely, the swamp-dwelling menace stomping his way to the ring with a menacing snarl. The two creatures make their way down the ramp, and the crowd boos, fully aware of the chaos this team is capable of unleashing. And their opponents, Daphne continues. The team of Nuclear Spawn and Weed Killer. The crowd's boos are quickly replaced with a mix of anticipation and excitement as Scott Steiner's familiar siren music blares through the speakers. The big Papa Pump himself emerges onto the stage, flanked by his rabid tigers, who snarl and pace restlessly by his side. Steiner flexes his massive biceps, his intense gaze locked on the ring as he leads his dangerous feline companions down the ramp. And their opponents? Daphne announces, struggling to be heard over the roar of the crowd, accompanied by his rabid tigers, Scott Steiner and the Sentient Dumpster. The camera pans to the ring, where the lid of the Sentient Dumpster slams open and shut, as if eager to join the fray. The dumpster rolls to the center of the ring, its filthy exterior clanging loudly against the mat, and the match is officially underway. Jim Ross, his voice full of anticipation, provides commentary. This is going to be one wild ride, folks. Steiner and the Sentient Dumpster make for an unpredictable team, but Nuclear Spawn and Weed Killer aren't to be taken lightly. The bell rings, and the match begins with Nuclear Spawn and Scott Steiner locking up in the center of the ring. Steiner's power advantage is evident as he muscles Spawn into the corner, but Spawn retaliates with a headbutt, staggering the big man. Spawn and Weed Killer work together, dishing out heavy blows and using underhanded tactics to keep Steiner on the defensive. Elvira chimes in with her usual dark humor. You know, JR, I never thought I'd see the day when a dumpster and a radioactive monster would be squaring off in the ring. But here we are, and I love it. As Steiner fights back, launching Nuclear Spawn across the ring with a massive belly-to-belly suplex, the Sentient Dumpster rolls into action. With a clatter of metal, it rams into Weed Killer, who stumbles back, momentarily disoriented. The match turns into a brutal back-and-forth affair, with all four competitors taking turns dishing out heavy punishment. Just as the match reaches a fever pitch, the action is unexpectedly interrupted by Kelly Bundy, who wanders out onto the stage, looking confused. The crowd buzzes with confusion as she makes her way down the ramp, seemingly lost in thought. She reaches ringside, glances at the chaos in the ring, and shrugs, clearly forgetting why she came out in the first place. Mr. Feeney, bewildered, comments from the commentary desk. What on earth is Kelly Bundy doing out here? This is not a safe place for someone as absent-minded as her. The distraction proves costly for Nuclear Spawn and Weed Killer. As Kelly continues to stand ringside, seemingly oblivious to the match, Steiner seizes the opportunity. With a burst of strength, he hoists Weed Killer into the air and delivers a thunderous Steiner suplex, sending him crashing down onto the sentient dumpster. "Good God Almighty!" JR shouts. Steiner just used the sentient dumpster as a weapon. The referee counts the pinfall, and Steiner's team is declared the winner. The crowd erupts in a mix of cheers and laughter as Kelly Bundy, still clueless about her unintended role in the outcome, shrugs and casually walks back up the ramp. Post-match, Scott Steiner flexes his muscles in victory, his rabid tigers prowling menacingly around the ring. The sentient dumpster clanks its lid triumphantly, seemingly celebrating alongside Steiner. As they bask in their victory, Kelly Bundy disappears into the backstage area, leaving the audience and commentators alike scratching their heads. Elvira chuckles as the camera cuts back to the commentary desk. Well, that was something. I guess you could say Kelly Bundy's distraction was the trashiest move of the night. Pauly Shore, ever the Joker, adds, "Hey, whatever works, right?" She just cleaned up the competition. The camera fades out as Steiner and the sentient dumpster exit the ring, leaving Nuclear Spawn and Weed Killer in a heap, the victors celebrating their hard-fought win. Backstage, the camera focuses on Grover, microphone in hand, standing between Topanga Lawrence and Alex Mack. The tension is palpable as the two competitors prepare for their upcoming match. Grover, ever the professional, begins the interview with his characteristic enthusiasm. "Ladies and gentlemen," Grover says, looking from Topanga to Alex, "I'm here with two of the most formidable competitors in 1412 wrestling, Topanga Lawrence and Alex Mack. Now, Topanga, you've been known for your intelligence and resilience, and tonight you're stepping into the ring with someone who can quite literally slip through your fingers. How do you plan to handle Alex's abilities?" Topanga, calm and composed, smiles confidently. "Grover, I faced a lot of challenges in my life, from dealing with Corey's antics to standing up for what I believe in. But tonight, it's about more than just brains. It's about heart. Alex might be able to turn into liquid, but I'm going to prove that I can adapt to any situation. She won't know what hit her." Grover nods appreciatively and turns to Alex Mack, who smirks with a playful gleam in her eye. "Alex," Grover begins, "your powers have given you an edge in some unique situations. How do you see tonight's match going?" Alex tilts her head slightly, her expression a mix of confidence and mischief. "Grover, I've been dodging danger and keeping secrets for a long time. I've got abilities that most people can't even dream of. But tonight, it's not just about slipping away. It's about proving that I can outsmart and outmaneuver anyone, even someone as sharp as Topanga. Let's see if she can keep up with me." With the interview over, the scene shifts to the ring where the crowd is buzzing with anticipation. Daphne Blake, standing in the center of the ring, raises the microphone to her lips. "The following contest is scheduled for one fall." Daphne announces, her voice echoing through the arena. Introducing first, accompanied by Corey Matthews, Topanga Lawrence. Topanga's entrance music hits, a blend of empowering beats and familiar themes from Boy Meets World. She strides confidently down the ramp, with Corey Matthews by her side, encouraging the crowd to cheer. Topanga slaps hands with fans, her eyes focused and determined as she makes her way to the ring. "And her opponent," Daphne continues, "Alex Mack." The lights dim, and a shimmery effect ripples across the screen as Alex Mack's theme music plays, a nod to the mysterious and adventurous tones of her show. Alex emerges from the entrance, a confident smile on her face. She moves with a fluidity that hints at her unique powers, and the crowd watches in awe as she heads toward the ring. Jim Ross, providing his expert commentary, sets the stage for the match. "This is going to be an interesting one, folks. You've got the technical prowess and resilience of Topanga Lawrence going up against the agility and unique abilities of Alex Mack. Both of these young women are at the top of their game, and I can't wait to see how this unfolds." Elvira adds with her usual wit, "I've seen a lot of things in my time, JR, but a girl turning into liquid to dodge a suplex? Now that's something you don't see every day." The bell rings, and the match is underway. Topanga and Alex circle each other cautiously before locking up in the center of the ring. Topanga takes the early advantage with a side headlock, but Alex quickly slips out of her grasp, literally transforming into liquid for a brief moment before rematerializing behind Topanga. Topanga turns around, a look of surprise on her face, but she doesn't hesitate. She goes on the offensive with a series of well-placed kicks and arm drags, showcasing her technical skills. Alex, however, uses her agility to evade most of the attacks, slipping away from holds and frustrating Topanga with her elusive maneuvers. Pauly Shore chimes in with his usual humor. Yo, I gotta say, watching Alex Mack in action is like trying to catch a greased-up weasel. She's here, she's there, she's everywhere, bro. Despite Alex's best efforts to dodge and evade, Topanga stays focused and determined. The match continues with both competitors trading blows, counters, and near falls. Alex manages to pull off a stunning high-flying move, diving off the top rope with a crossbody, but Topanga rolls through, nearly pinning Alex in the process. The crowd is on the edge of their seats as the match reaches its climax. Alex attempts to capitalize on Topanga's momentary exhaustion, setting up for a final, high-impact move. But Topanga, ever resilient, sees an opening. As Alex goes for a springboard maneuver, Topanga catches her off guard with a quick roll-up pin. The referee drops to the mat and counts. 1, 2, 3. The bell rings, and Topanga is declared the winner. Here is your winner, Topanga Lawrence! Daphne announces as the crowd erupts in cheers. Backstage, the camera focuses on Jim Ross provides the final word on the match. What a contest, folks! Topanga Lawrence proved that no matter what abilities you have, determination and skill can make all the difference. And Alex Mack? Well, she's shown that she's a force to be reckoned with in 1412 wrestling. I have a feeling we haven't seen the last of her. Elvira adds, Topanga's got the brains and the brawn to back it up. And Alex Mack? She's slippery, but tonight, Topanga was just a little bit slicker. As Corey and Topanga exit the ring, celebrating with the fans, the camera cuts to the backstage area where the next segment is set to begin, leaving the audience buzzing from the exciting match they just witnessed. Backstage, Grover stands with his signature microphone, ready to kick off another pre-match interview. Sean Hunter, still riding the high from Topanga's victory, stands beside his best friend Corey Matthews, who has just returned from ringside. Grover, with his usual charm, smiles at the camera and then at the two young men beside him. Hello, everyone. Grover here with the dynamic duo of 1412 Wrestling, Sean Hunter and Corey Matthews. Grover begins with enthusiasm. Sean, you're about to step into the ring with a fiery opponent in Firebrand. What's your strategy going into this match? Sean, his cool demeanor shining through, shrugs casually. Grover, I've faced a lot of tough situations in my life. Everything from dodging school bullies to dealing with life's curveballs. Firebrand might bring the heat, but I've got something he doesn't. Street smarts. I'm not just going to fight fire with fire. I'm going to outthink him, outmaneuver him, and make sure he knows that you don't mess with Sean Hunter. Corey, always the supportive friend, chimes in. Sean's got this, Grover. We've been through a lot together, and if there's one thing I know, it's that Sean never backs down from a challenge. Topanga set the bar earlier, and now it's Sean's turn to show everyone what he's made of. Grover nods, clearly impressed. Well, it sounds like you two have a solid plan. Good luck out there, Sean. The camera cuts back to the arena, where the crowd is buzzing with anticipation. The lights dim slightly, and the energy in the arena ramps up as Daphne Blake steps into the ring with her microphone, ready to make the introductions. The following contest is scheduled for one fall, Daphne announces, her voice carrying through the arena. Introducing first, accompanied by Corey Matthews, Sean Hunter. Sean's entrance music kicks in, a mix of gritty rock and rebellious undertones, perfectly capturing his streetwise persona. Sean strides confidently down the ramp with Corey right behind him, hyping up the crowd as they head to the ring. The audience cheers, fully behind Sean as he prepares for what promises to be a heated battle. And his opponent, Daphne continues, Firebrand. The lights in the arena take on a red hue as Firebrand's entrance theme, a foreboding, intense melody, echoes through the venue. Firebrand emerges from the entrance, a menacing aura surrounding him. His eyes burn with intensity as he makes his way to the ring, ready to unleash his fiery wrath on Shawn Hunter. As the bell rings, Jim Ross provides his expert commentary, setting the stage for the match. This one's going to be a barn burner, folks. Shawn Hunter's got the grit and determination, but Firebrand is a force of nature. It's street smarts versus raw power, and I can't wait to see how this unfolds. Elvira adds with a hint of amusement, Shawn better be ready to sweat because Firebrand doesn't just turn up the heat, he brings the whole inferno. The match begins with a tense standoff, both men sizing each other up. Firebrand lunges forward with fiery aggression, but Shawn ducks and weaves, using his agility and street fighting instincts to stay one step ahead. Shawn lands a few quick jabs and follows up with a drop kick, sending Firebrand stumbling back. Pauly Shore chimes in with his usual humor. Yo, Shawn's moving like a ninja out there. Firebrand's all like, where'd this dude go? Firebrand quickly recovers, his eyes narrowing as he charges at Shawn with a series of hard-hitting strikes. Shawn absorbs the blows, retaliating with a well-timed arm drag that Firebrand crashing to the mat. The match continues to swing back and forth, with Firebrand using his brute strength and fiery offense, while Shawn counters with quick thinking and precise strikes. At one point, Firebrand attempts to corner Shawn, but Corey Matthews shouts words of encouragement from ringside, urging Shawn to stay focused. Shawn dodges a devastating clothesline and quickly scales the turnbuckle. The crowd rises to their feet as Shawn balances himself on the top rope, ready to deliver his finishing move. With a determined look in his eyes, Shawn leaps off the top rope and nails Firebrand with a perfectly executed DDT. The impact echoes through the arena as Firebrand's head slams into the mat. Shawn quickly hooks the leg and the referee drops to the mat for the count. 1, 2, 3. The bell rings and the match is over. Here is your winner, Shawn Hunter. Daphne announces as the crowd erupts in cheers. Corey rushes into the ring, waits, hugging his best friend and raising Shawn's arm in victory. Shawn grins, clearly thrilled with his hard-fought win. But the celebration is short-lived as Firebrand, enraged by his defeat, gets to his feet. His eyes burn with fury as he glares at the victorious duo. Before anyone can react, Firebrand turns his anger toward the ring itself. With a guttural roar, he unleashes his fiery powers, setting one of the turnbuckles ablaze. The flames lick up the padding, creating an intense, dangerous spectacle. The referee and officials quickly scramble to put out the fire as Firebrand storms out of the ring, seething with frustration. Jim Ross captures the gravity of the moment in his commentary. Firebrand's not taking this loss lightly, folks. That was one hell of a match, but Shawn Hunter came out on top. You've got to give the kid credit. He fought his heart out and proved he can hang with the best. Elvira adds, that was hotter than a summer night in the desert. Shawn Hunter better watch his back, because I don't think Firebrand's done with him yet. As the flames are finally extinguished and order is restored, Shawn and Corey exit the ring, high-fiving fans as they make their way up the ramp. The camera cuts to the backstage area where the next segment is ready to unfold, leaving the crowd excited for what's to come next. Here you go. The anticipation in the arena is palpable as the camera cuts back from commercial, zooming in on the ring where Daphne Blake stands poised with her microphone. The audience, already electrified from the previous matches, knows they're about to witness a brawl for the ages. Ladies and gentlemen, Daphne begins, her voice ringing out clear and strong. The following contest is a Memphis street fight. Introducing first from Nashville, Tennessee, Jeff Jarrett. The familiar strains of Jeff Jarrett's entrance music hit, but this time, the man himself emerges from backstage with an intensity that matches the gravity of the feud. Wearing his signature sunglasses and strumming his guitar, Jarrett exudes confidence, though his eyes betray a deep-seated anger reserved solely for his opponent. He struts down the ramp, jawing with fans and letting everyone know he's here to settle the score once and for all. And his opponent. Daphne continues as the crowd's cheers grow louder. From Tupelo, Mississippi, the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. The crowd erupts as the legendary Elvis Presley steps out from behind the curtain, his iconic white jumpsuit glittering under the arena lights. The king waves to his adoring fans, his trademark charisma on full display despite the brutal contest he's about to engage in. He walks down the ramp with purpose, the air around him thick with the history and pride of Memphis. Jim Ross immediately sets the stage for the chaos about to unfold. Folks, this is personal. Jeff Jarrett and Elvis Presley have been at each other's throats for weeks, and it all comes to a head tonight in this Memphis street fight. This isn't going to be a wrestling match. It's going to be a war. Elvira adds with a sly grin, "Oh, I love a good brawl. And you just know these two are going to turn this place upside down. I'm just wondering who's going to walk out and who's going to be carried out." Pauly Shore chimes in with his usual humor. "Dudes, if anyone's gonna smash a guitar tonight, my money's on the tonight. My money's on the king. He's been swinging them long before Jarrett ever picked one up." As the bell rings, signaling the start of the match, the two men waste no time getting down to business. They meet in the center of the ring, exchanging heated words that quickly devolve into a flurry of punches. The intensity is immediate, with both men determined to come out on top. Jarrett, ever the aggressor, grabs Elvis by the head and slams him into the turnbuckle repeatedly. The sound of skull meeting steel reverberates throughout the arena. But Elvis, fueled by the cheers of the crowd, fires back with a series of hard right hands that send Jarrett reeling. The fight spills out of the ring and into the crowd, the fans parting like the Red Sea to make room for the chaos. "Elvis isn't backing down one bit," Jim Ross exclaims as the camera struggles to keep up with the action. This is exactly what we expected from these two. No holds barred, no mercy. The combatants brawl through the sea of fans, who are loving every second of the mayhem. Elvis grabs a chair from a fan in the front row and cracks it over Jarrett's back with a sickening thud. Jarrett stumbles forward but quickly recovers, finding a steel trash can nearby and using it to level the playing field. He swings the can with all his might, smashing it into Elvis's head. But the king refuses to go down. Instead, he responds with a stiff shot to Jarrett's gut, doubling him over. Pauly Shore, clearly enjoying the carnage, quips, "This is like a rockin' roll version of a barroom brawl. I wouldn't be surprised if someone pulls out a jukebox next." The fight continues through the crowd, with both men grabbing whatever weapons they can find. Guitars, steel chairs, and even a microphone stand. Each blow is delivered with the kind of force that would take out a lesser opponent, but neither man is willing to give an inch. They're fighting not just to win, but to prove who truly embodies the spirit of Memphis. As the brawl reaches the stage area, Elvis gains the upper hand, slamming Jarrett's head into the side of the ramp. With Jarrett dazed, Elvis grabs his opponent by the hair and drags him back towards the ring, tossing him over the ropes and back into the squared circle. Elvis climbs back in, grabbing Jarrett's guitar from the corner and holding it high above his head, signaling to the crowd that he's about to deliver a knockout blow. Jim Ross, his voice tinged with urgency, shouts Elvis is about to give Jeff Jarrett a taste of his own medicine. He's looking to end this right now. But just as Elvis swings the guitar down, the crowd gasps as a figure emerges from the entranceway, sprinting towards the ring. It's the Honky-Tonk Man. The king's surprise at seeing his old rival is his undoing, as Honky-Tonk Man slides into the ring, yanks the guitar from Elvis's hands, and smashes it over his head with a thunderous crack. "No, not like this." Jim Ross yells, his voice full of disbelief. "The Honky-Tonk Man has no business being out here." Elvira adds, with a dark chuckle, "Looks like the king just got dethroned. Honky-Tonk Man might have his number tonight." The impact sends Elvis crumbling to the mat, the shards of the shattered guitar scattered around him like the remnants of a fallen kingdom. Jarrett, still groggy from the earlier beating, slowly crawls over to Elvis and drapes an arm across his chest. The referee, who has been trying to restore some semblance of order, has no choice but to count the pin. 1, 2, 3. It's over. The bell rings, signaling the end of the match, but the chaos is far from over. Honky-Tonk Man grabs a microphone and stands over the fallen Elvis, his voice dripping with contempt. "You think you're the king?" Honky-Tonk Man sneers. "You think you're the one who brought rock and roll to wrestling? Well, you ain't nothing, Elvis. I'm the real king of rock and roll, and you're just a wannabe who stole my gimmick." The crowd erupts into boos, the sound echoing throughout the arena as Honky Tonk Man continues to berate Elvis, who still lies motionless on the mat. Jarrett, now back on his feet, joins Honky Tonk Man in taunting the fallen icon, their voices blending into a symphony of disrespect. Pauly Shore, clearly disgusted by the scene, mutters, "Man, that's just low. Honky Tonk Man's got a serious case of jealousy going on here." Jim Ross, his voice filled with disdain, adds, "This is despicable. Elvis Presley gave everything he had in this fight, and this is the thanks he gets? Honky Tonk Man is nothing but a cheap imitation, trying to cash in on a legacy he could never hope to match." As Honky Tonk Man and Jarrett continue to gloat, the camera zooms in on Elvis's face, his expression a mixture of pain and determination. Even as he lies there, it's clear that this war is far from over. The Honky Tonk Man and Jeff Jarrett may have won this battle, but the king isn't done yet. The segment ends with Honky Tonk Man raising Jarrett's hand in victory, both men basking in the heat of the crowd's boos. Elvis remains on the mat, but as the camera fades to black, there's a flicker of movement, a subtle hint that this fight is only just beginning. The screen transitions to a commercial, leaving the audience eager to see what will happen next in this intense rivalry. As the scene cuts to the backstage area, the ever-sarcastic Strong Bad is seated at a makeshift desk in a dimly lit room, typing away at his old-school computer. The screen flickers with a retro email interface, and the familiar chime of a new message echoes in the room. The camera zooms in on Strong Bad's screen, revealing the subject line, "Who's your favorite anti-boiled egg brigade member?" Strong Bad's eyes narrow as he reads the email aloud in his signature disdainful tone. "Dear Strong Bad, who is your favorite member of the anti-boiled egg brigade? Sincerely, dumb fan from the middle of nowhere." He leans back in his chair, crossing his arms and letting out a heavy, exaggerated sigh. "Oh, great. Another one of these emails," he mutters to himself, already exasperated. "Like I don't get enough of these egg-related questions every day. As if my entire life revolves around those scrambled skulled yokels." He shakes his head, staring directly into the camera with an annoyed glare. "Listen up, dorks. I'm only going to say this once, and then I'm done talking about it forever. Okay? The anti-boiled egg brigade? A bunch of nobodies. A group of half-baked rejects who wouldn't know a good idea if it smacked them upside their yolk-covered heads." Strong Bad's irritation is palpable as he continues his tirade, growing more animated with each passing word. "Bars? That guy's got one thing on his mind, and it ain't world domination. It's boiled eggs. How do you base your entire existence on hating boiled eggs? How about you get a hobby, Bars? Like, I don't know, knitting? Or better yet, just disappear into the egg-cellent abyss where you belong." He leans in closer to the camera, raising an eyebrow. "And don't even get me started on Cliff O'Malley." "Who? Exactly." "Just some loudmouth who thinks he's hot stuff because he's got a squad of egg haters behind him. Newsflash, Cliffy, yelling about eggs doesn't make you interesting. It makes you boring." Strong Bad's voice drips with sarcasm as he continues. "Then there's Doug Funny. I mean, seriously? The kid's got more issues than a stack of comic books, and he's somehow supposed to be a credible threat? What's he gonna do? Doodle me to death? Maybe he should stick to daydreaming about saving the day, because in reality, he's as intimidating as a wet paper towel." As Strong Bad gets further into his rant, his frustration begins to peak. Donkey lips? Oh, come on. What is this, a sitcom from the 90s? Are we really supposed to believe this guy is a force to be reckoned with? He's just a walking punchline, and not even a good one. I've seen scarier things in my breakfast cereal. The insults continue to fly as Strong Bad spares no one in the brigade. And then there's Earl Sinclair, the dinosaur dad. Hey, Earl, why don't you go back to worrying about your prehistoric family drama and leave the real fighting to people who actually matter? You're about as threatening as a pile of soggy dino nuggets. Strong Bad rolls his eyes as he continues his verbal onslaught, his tone dripping with condescension. Let's not forget about baby Rexa. Really? She's in this group? I thought she was busy making mediocre pop music. But no, she's out here fighting the good fight against eggs? Oh, please. Go write a song about how boiled eggs broke your heart or something. Just as Strong Bad is about to launch into a further critique, he's interrupted by the unmistakable, cheerful voice of Homestar Runner. Homestar casually strolls into the frame, a goofy grin plastered on his face. "Hey, Strong Bad! I was just thinking about how much I love broiled eggs. They're so tasty and full of protein, you know? You ever tried broiled eggs? They're like all crispy on the outside and soft on the inside." Strong Bad's face contorts in a mixture of disbelief and disgust as he slowly turns to face Homestar. "Broiled eggs? Are you serious right now, Homestar? First of all, that's not even a real thing. Second of all, who asked you? This isn't the Broiled Egg Brigade. And third, just get out of here before I lose the last shred of sanity I have left." But Homestar, completely oblivious to Strong Bad's irritation, continues on with his rambling. "Oh, come on, Strong Bad. You can't knock it till you've tried it. Maybe we can start a new club, the Pro-Broiled Egg Brigade. It'll be egg-citing." Strong Bad facepalms, shaking his head in utter defeat. "I am surrounded by idiots?" He mutters under his breath before raising his voice to address the camera one last time. "You know what? I'm done with this. No more egg talk, no more brigades, and definitely no more Homestar's culinary disasters." With that, Strong Bad shoves his chair back, standing up abruptly and storming off screen. As he exits, he can still be heard muttering to himself about the ridiculousness of it all. Homestar, left alone in the frame, looks around in confusion. Geez, what's his problem? Homestar wonders aloud before shrugging and skipping off, still humming a tune about broiled eggs as the scene fades out. The segment concludes with the audience left in stitches, having witnessed yet another classic Strong Bad rant, complete with his signature brand of sarcasm and biting. As the scene cuts to the backstage, the segment concludes with the audience left in stitches, having witnessed yet another classic Strong Bad rant, complete with his signature brand of sarcasm and biting humor. But one thing is clear. If there's one thing Strong Bad hates more than the anti-boiled egg brigade, it's egg-related questions. And if there's anything he can't stand, it's Homestar's unending optimism in the face of his barely contained rage. The backstage area is tense as the camera cuts to President Freddy Krueger, who is standing in front of a 1412 wrestling banner with his signature sinister grin plastered across his scarred face. Daphne Blake stands beside him, holding a microphone, visibly nervous as she prepares to conduct the interview. "Welcome back, everyone," Daphne begins, her voice slightly trembling. "I'm here with President Freddy Krueger, who has some important news to share with us." Freddy leans into the microphone, his voice dripping with malevolence. "You know, Daphne, I've been running things around here in my own special way, but every now and then it's time to make a change, a little house cleaning, if you will, and I've got just the news to shake things up." He pauses, savoring the moment as the camera zooms in on his wicked smile. Effective immediately, General Manager Rita Repulsa has been fired. The words hang in the air like a dark cloud as Daphne's eyes widen in shock. Before she can react, the sound of furious footsteps echoes through the corridor. The camera whips around just in time to catch Rita Repulsa storming into the frame, her face twisted with rage, her staff clutched tightly in her hand. "What?" Rita screeches, her voice filled with venom. "You think you can fire me, Freddy? Me? I've been ruling over my forces with an iron fist since before you crawled out of the nightmares of children." Freddy's smile only grows wider as he watches Rita's furious outburst. "Oh, Rita, it's not about what you've done. It's about what I'm about to do. You see, your time is up. I'm the one in control now, and I've got a new vision for 1412 wrestling. And it doesn't include you." Rita raises her staff, ready to unleash her magic in a fit of rage. But before she can make a move, a loud, menacing roar fills the hallway. The camera quickly pans to reveal Goldar, Scorpina, Grumblebee, Slippery Shark, Eye Guy, Squat, Babu, and Rito Revolto, all of Rita's most loyal minions, charging down the hallway toward Freddy. With a terrifying howl, Goldar leads the charge, his sword gleaming as he lunges at Freddy. The president tries to block the attack, but he's quickly overwhelmed as Goldar slashes across Freddy's chest, sending him reeling. Freddy fights back with his razor-sharp glove, slashing at Goldar, but soon, the rest of Rita's forces are upon him. Scorpina, with her deadly scorpion blade, strikes at Freddy from the side, while Grumblebee swarms him, stinging him repeatedly. Slippery Shark and Eye Guy join the fray, using their unique abilities to disorient Freddy. Squat and Babu awkwardly jump into the brawl, clumsily swinging their weapons but still adding to the chaos. Rita stands back, watching with a cold, satisfied smirk as her minions do her bidding. Freddy tries to fight them off, but the numbers are against him. Rito Revolto, ever the opportunist, pulls out a bone club and whacks Freddy over the head, sending him stumbling to the ground. "How dare you try to fire me, Freddy?" Rita sneers, stepping forward as her minions hold Freddy down. "You think you can just waltz in here and take my place? I am Rita Repulsa. I will not be dethroned by some wannabe slasher villain." Freddy, bloodied and battered, manages a weak chuckle as he glares up at Rita. "You think this is over, Rita? You think you've won? You don't know who you're messing with." But Rita isn't fazed. She raises her staff high above her head, ready to deliver the final blow. "You're finished, Kruger. It's time for you to go back to the dream world where you belong." Just as she's about to strike, she hesitates, lowering her staff slightly as a new idea forms in her mind. A wicked smile spreads across her face as she looks around at her assembled forces. "On second thought," she purrs, "maybe it's time for a new reign of terror. A reign under my rule. With all of you by my side." Her minions cheer, rallying behind her as they continue to hold Freddy down. Rita turns her gaze back to Freddy, her eyes gleaming with malice. "You're not just out of a job, Freddy. You're out of your league. And Fort 112 wrestling? It's mine now." With a triumphant laugh, Rita raises her staff once more, but instead of striking Freddy, she slams it into the ground, causing a surge of dark energy to ripple through the hallway. Her minions join in, chanting her name as the walls seem to shake with the force of their combined power. Freddy, still struggling on the ground, looks up at Rita with a mix of defiance and fear. "This isn't over," he growls through gritted teeth. Rita leans down, her face inches from Freddy's, her voice dripping with venom. "Oh, Freddy, it's only just begun." With that, Rita and her minions turn and march off down the hallway, leaving Freddy battered and bruised on the floor. The camera lingers on Freddy's face, twisted in pain and fury, as the screen fades to black, signaling that a new era of terror has indeed begun in 1412 wrestling. The lights dim in the arena as the unmistakable sound of Vegeta's theme music blasts through the speakers. The crowd erupts in a mix of boos and cheers as the Cyan Prince, accompanied by Bulma, makes his way to the ring with a determined look on his face. Vegeta strides with confidence, his eyes narrowed and focused, while Bulma walks beside him offering words of encouragement. As they reach the ring, Vegeta leaps onto the apron and enters with a quick, fluid motion, taking his place in the center of the ring. Bulma stands by ringside, her eyes scanning the arena for any signs of trouble. The atmosphere shifts as Santa Claus's theme music, a jolly yet menacing rendition of "Here Comes Santa Claus," begins to play. The On Point Kings, Strong Bad, Strong Mad, and the Cheat accompany Santa to the ring, each carrying a large sack filled with what appear to be Christmas-themed weapons. The crowd's reaction is mixed, with some fans cheering for the holiday icon, while others boo, knowing full well the chaos the On Point Kings are capable of. Jim Ross, watching the action from the commentary table, shakes his head in disbelief. "Well, folks, I never thought I'd see the day where Vegeta would square off against Santa Claus, but here we are." And with the On Point Kings lurking around, this match could get out of hand real quick. Mr. Feeney chimes in, his voice filled with concern. "You know, Jim, I've seen a lot in my time, but this is something else. Vegeta's not going to make this easy for Santa, and I doubt the On Point Kings are just here to spread holiday cheer." Elvira chuckles darkly. "It's like Christmas meets chaos. I'm here for it." Daphne Blake, standing in the ring, raises her microphone to make the official introductions. The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, accompanied by Bulma from Planet Vegeta, the Saiyan Prince, Vegeta! The crowd responds with a mixture of cheers and boos as Vegeta smirks confidently. And his opponent, Daphne continues, accompanied by the On Point Kings from the North Pole, Santa Claus! Santa raises his arms in acknowledgement of the crowd, but his eyes remain fixed on Vegeta. As the bell rings, Vegeta immediately charges at Santa, delivering a series of rapid punches to the jolly old man's midsection. Santa staggers back, but the On-Point Kings quickly move in, distracting Vegeta just long enough for Santa to recover. Santa retaliates with a massive clothesline, sending Vegeta crashing to the mat. "Santa's not holding back tonight, folks," Jim Ross exclaims, leaning forward in his seat. Vegeta, undeterred, quickly rises to his feet and counters with a powerful kick to Santa's chest, sending the big man stumbling into the corner. Vegeta follows up with a barrage of strikes, each punch and kick landing with precision. The On-Point Kings look to interfere, but Bulma shouts a warning to Vegeta, who quickly turns and catches Strong Mad attempting to climb onto the apron. With a snarl, Vegeta grabs Strong Mad by the head and hurls him into the ring, delivering a devastating final flash that sends Strong Mad flying back out of the ring and crashing into the cheat. The crowd erupts in cheers as Vegeta turns his attention back to Santa, who is still recovering in the corner. "Vegeta's not going to let the On-Point Kings get the upper hand here," Mr. Feeney observes, clearly impressed by Vegeta's awareness and power. Santa, seeing his allies incapacitated, tries to mount a comeback, pulling a large candy cane-shaped sledgehammer from his sack. He swings it at Vegeta, but the Saiyan Prince dodges the attack with ease, delivering a swift kick to Santa's gut. Santa drops the sledgehammer, and Vegeta takes advantage, lifting Santa into the air with a massive display of strength before slamming him down with a spine buster. "Good God Almighty!" Jim Ross shouts. "Did you see the impact on that spine buster? Vegeta's on a mission tonight." With Santa down, Vegeta takes a moment to power up, his energy flaring around him as he prepares to finish the match. The On-Point Kings, still dazed from the earlier encounter, attempt one last effort to interfere. But Bulma steps in, pulling out a capsule from her pocket. She throws it onto the ground, and with a puff of smoke, a large energy barrier surrounds the ring, preventing the On-Point Kings from getting in. "Bulma's not just here to stand by and watch," Elvira comments, clearly impressed. She's making sure Vegeta gets a fair fight. Vegeta, now fully powered up, positions himself as Santa struggles to get to his feet. With a determined glare, Vegeta charges forward, delivering a thunderous final flash that connects directly with Santa's chest. The impact sends Santa flying across the ring, crashing into the turnbuckles with such force that the entire ring shakes. With Santa clearly down for the count, Vegeta wastes no time in covering him for the pin. The referee slides in to make the count. 1, 2, 3! The bell rings, signaling Vegeta's victory. Daphne Blake raises the microphone once more. "Here is your winner, Vegeta!" The crowd erupts in a mix of cheers and boos as Vegeta stands tall in the center of the ring, his hand raised in victory. Bulma enters the ring, beaming with pride as she joins her husband in celebration. But even in victory, Vegeta's eyes remain locked on the On-Point Kings, who are regrouping outside the ring. There's a silent tension between them, a promise of future battles yet to come. Jim Ross wraps up the match commentary, his voice filled with admiration. "Vegeta may have won the battle tonight, but something tells me this war is far from over. The On-Point Kings won't take this loss lightly, and with Vegeta and Bulma on high alert, who knows what could happen next?" As Vegeta and Bulma make their way up the ramp, the energy barrier dissipates, and the On-Point Kings help Santa to his feet, casting menacing glances at the departing Saiyan Prince. The camera lingers on this uneasy alliance as the show heads to a commercial break, leaving the audience eager to see what chaos will unfold next. The lights in the arena dim as the anticipation builds for the Divas Championship match. A mix of cheers and jeers fills the air as the ominous theme music of the reigning champion, Katharine Isabelle, echoes through the arena. The cameras focus on the entrance ramp, and moments later, Katharine emerges, her eyes glowing with a fierce intensity. She's fully in character, already showing signs of her werewolf transformation, with fangs bared and a predatory gleam in her eyes. The crowd reacts with awe as she confidently strides to the ring, the Divas Championship slung over her shoulder. Jim Ross, ever the voice of reason, comments on the situation. Katharine Isabelle has been an unstoppable force in 1412 wrestling, but tonight she faces a whole new challenge in Android 18. This one's going to be a barn burner, folks. Mr. Feeney adds, "Indeed, JR Android 18 is no slouch. She's a machine in every sense of the word. And if anyone can dethrone Katharine, it's her. The arena's lights flicker, and the sound of a futuristic, high-energy theme blasts through the speakers. The crowd roars as Android 18 steps onto the ramp, her expression cold and determined. She's focused, and there's no doubt in anyone's mind that she's here to win. Android 18 walks down the ramp with purpose, her eyes never leaving Katharine in the ring. As she reaches the ring, she hops up onto the apron and enters the squared circle, standing face-to-face with the champion. Elvira, leaning into her gothic persona, quips, "This is going to be a clash of monsters. One flesh and one metal. Who's going to come out on top?" Daphne Blake steps into the ring with a microphone, her voice clear and steady as she makes the official introductions. The following contest is scheduled for one fall, and it is for the 14-12 Divas Championship. Introducing first, the challenger from the Red Ribbon Army, Android 18. The crowd erupts in cheers as Android 18 raises her fist, acknowledging the support. And her opponent, Daphne continues, from the dark corners of the human soul, she is the reigning and defending 14-12 Divas champion, Katharine Isabelle. The crowd reacts with a mix of boos and applause, the respect for Katharine's dominance evident. The referee checks both competitors and signals for the bell. The match begins with a cautious lockup, both women testing each other's strength. Katharine, already partially transformed into her werewolf form, uses her enhanced strength to push Android 18 into the corner. But Android 18 is quick to counter, using her agility to slip behind Katharine and deliver a powerful kick to the back of her head. Katharine stumbles forward, but quickly recovers, turning to face Android 18 with a snarl. Jim Ross is on his feet, practically shouting into the mic, "These two aren't wasting any time, and neither are we. Android 18 already showing why she's one of the best in the business." The match quickly escalates as both competitors begin exchanging blows. Katharine unleashes a series of vicious strikes, each one more brutal than the last, but Android 18 blocks and counters with precision. She lands a spinning kick that sends Katharine crashing into the ropes. Android 18 follows up with a series of suplexes, showing off her incredible strength. The crowd is on their feet, reacting to every move with loud cheers. Mr. Feeney chimes in. Android 18 is wrestling a near-perfect match so far, but you can never count out Katharine Isabelle, especially when she's in this state. Katharine, sensing the match slipping away, taps into her werewolf side. Her transformation intensifies as she lets out a howl, her eyes glowing a feral yellow. She charges at Android 18, tackling her to the mat with a monstrous fury. The referee tries to maintain order, but Katharine is relentless, delivering a flurry of punches and bites that leave Android 18 struggling to defend herself. Elvira gasps, "Katharine's going full beast mode. This could be it for Android 18." But Android 18 is far from finished. Summoning her android resilience, she manages to push Katharine off and gets to her feet. Android 18 shakes off the damage and refocuses, her eyes locking onto the champion. With a burst of speed, she rushes Katharine and delivers a devastating knee strike to her midsection, doubling her over. Android 18 seizes the moment and hoists Katharine onto her shoulders for a powerbomb, slamming her down with such force that the ring shakes. "Good God Almighty!" Jim Ross exclaims. Katharine Isabelle might be done for. The crowd is electric as Android 18 signals for her finisher. She lifts Katharine off the mat and hits her with a devastating finishing move, a combination of a spinning back fist followed by a crushing roundhouse kick to the side of the head. Katharine collapses to the mat, clearly out of it. Android 18 drops down and hooks the leg, and the referee counts. 1, 2, 3. The bell rings, and the crowd explodes into cheers as Daphne Blake makes the official announcement. Here is your winner, and the new 14-12 Divas champion, Android 18. The arena erupts with applause as Android 18 rises to her feet, the championship belt being handed to her by the referee. She raises it high above her head, standing tall as the new Divas champion. Katharine Isabelle lies motionless in the ring, her brief reign of terror brought to an end by the powerful android. Jim Ross wraps up the match with a note of finality. What an incredible match! Android 18 has done what many thought impossible. She's defeated the unbeatable Katharine Isabelle and claimed the Divas Championship. Mr. Feeney adds, tonight marks the beginning of a new era in the Divas division. Android 18 is going to be a champion to watch. As Android 18 celebrates in the ring, the camera cuts to Katharine slowly crawling towards the ropes, her werewolf form fading as she struggles to regain her composure. The scene is a powerful reminder of the toll this match has taken on both competitors and the lengths they'll go to for glory in 14-12 wrestling. The show cuts to a commercial break, leaving the audience buzzing with excitement over what they've just witnessed. The pre-taped segment begins with a serene backdrop, where Pauly Shore sits in a cozy, dimly lit studio, leaning casually on a plush armchair. Across from him, in a similar chair but looking far less comfortable, sits Earthworm Jim. Jim's long, lanky form is slouched, his eyes darting around suspiciously, as if expecting danger at any moment. Pauly starts with his signature laid-back tone. Yo, welcome back to another edition of Pauly's Corner, where we get to the bottom of all the whacked-out mysteries in 14-12 wrestling. Today, we've got the one, the only Earthworm Jim. So, Jimbo, what's the deal, bro? You've been running your mouth about Harry and Marv being time-traveling warlords and their couch being, like, totally mystical. Spill the beans, man. Earthworm Jim straightens up, his antennae twitching with a mix of excitement and paranoia. Pauly, I'm telling you, it's not just a theory, it's fact. Those two crooks, Harry and Marv, they're not just your run-of-the-mill burglars. They've been around the block, literally through time. I've been tracking their moves, and every place they hit has this weird energy signature. And their couch, oh man, their couch. It's not just a place to sit, it's a portal to another dimension, a relic of ancient power. Pauly raises an eyebrow, clearly intrigued but also amused. A mystical couch, huh? Sounds like something out of a sci-fi flick. Bro, but why do you think these dudes are hiding it all under our noses? What's their endgame? Jim leans in closer, lowering his voice as if sharing a deep secret. They're biding their time, gathering energy. Every time they pull off a heist, they're not just stealing valuables. They're siphoning off the essence of this reality to power their time-warping couch. And once they have enough, they'll be unstoppable. I've seen their kind before, Pauly, and it never ends well. Before Earthworm Jim can elaborate further, the sound of a swooshing blade cuts through the air, and suddenly, the Red Ninja bursts into the scene with a perfectly executed spin kick that catches Jim right in the face. Earthworm Jim is sent flying backward, crashing into the backdrop as the camera shakes from the impact. The Red Ninja stands tall, his presence commanding and intense. Enough of your drivel, Earthworm. There's only one thing that matters right now, and that's Chandler Bing's audacity to call himself a ninja. He's a disgrace to the art, a poser who sullies the name of true warriors like myself. Chandler Bing, consider this a challenge. I'll show you what a real ninja is capable of. Just as the Red Ninja finishes his fierce declaration, the hulking figures of Bebop and Rocksteady charge into the studio. Bebop, with his punk rock attire and mohawk, and Rocksteady, with his rhinoceros brute strength, flank the Red Ninja. The camera zooms in on their angry snouts as they speak. Yo, Red Ninja, Bebop snarls. You think you're tough coming in here and talking smack about Chandler? That's our master Shredder's boy, and we don't take kindly to anyone disrespecting him. Rocksteady nods in agreement. Yeah, we're gonna pound you into the ground, ninja or not. Before the Red Ninja can react, Bebop and Rocksteady launch a simultaneous attack, overwhelming him with a barrage of punches and kicks. The Red Ninja tries to defend himself, but the numbers game is too much. He's quickly subdued, left lying on the floor, breathing heavily from the beatdown. Bebop and Rocksteady stand over him triumphantly, dusting off their hands as if the fight was nothing. Bebop turns to Pauly Shore, who has been watching the entire scene unfold with wide eyes. Bebop grins. Hey, Pauly, you got any cake around here? Pauly, ever the chill host, points to a nearby table where a large cake, decorated with the 14-12 wrestling logo, sits untouched. Bebop and Rocksteady's eyes light up as they rush over to the cake, grabbing massive handfuls and stuffing their faces with it. Pauly, not wanting to be left out, joins them, taking a slice for himself. As the trio devours the cake, Pauly glances at the camera, cake crumbs on his lips, and chuckles. Well, dudes, I guess that's all the time we've got for today. Remember, in 1412 wrestling, anything can happen, and you never know who's going to crash the party. Until next time, keep it gnarly. The segment ends with the camera panning out, showing Earthworm Jim slowly regaining consciousness in the background, the Red Ninja still laid out on the floor, and Polly, Bebop, and Rocksteady sharing a moment of cake-fueled camaraderie. The chaotic energy perfectly encapsulates the unpredictable nature of 1412 wrestling. Backstage, the atmosphere is thick with tension as Grover stands in the center of a dimly lit room, microphone in hand. The camera pans around, capturing the intense faces of the competitors set to battle it out in tonight's main event. On one side, John Locke stands stoically, surrounded by the others, who silently observe the proceedings. Bars, flanked by the menacing members of the anti-boiled egg brigade, exudes disdain and aggression. The hulking Minotaur, accompanied by the raucous golf cart crew, looms ominously, his eyes burning with the promise of destruction. Grover, trying to maintain his composure in the presence of such dangerous company, clears his throat and begins. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moments away from one of the most anticipated main events in 1412 wrestling history. Tonight, Stone Cold Steve Austin, John Locke, Bars, and the Minotaur will collide in a battle to determine who will face Majin Buu for the 1412 championship. Let's hear from each of these competitors, starting with you, Mr. Locke. John Locke steps forward, his eyes piercing with a calm yet unnerving intensity. Tonight, fate will guide my hand. Locke begins, his voice steady and assured. The others and I have seen the future, and it's clear. My path leads to the 1412 championship. Bars, Minotaur, Austin, you're all just obstacles in the way of what's meant to be. This isn't about strength or cunning, it's about destiny. And tonight, destiny favors me. Bars steps forward next, brushing past Grover with an aggressive shove, his eyes narrowing as he glares at Locke. Destiny? Fate? That's all just boiled egg nonsense to me, he snarls, earning a murmur of agreement from the anti-boiled egg brigade behind him. I'm not here to talk about what's meant to be. I'm here to do one thing, destroy anyone who gets in my way and crush all the things I despise, starting with that egg-shaped head of yours, Locke. And Minotaur. Don't think for a second that your size intimidates me. I've taken down bigger, and tonight, I'll do it again. As for Austin, Bar's words are interrupted by a deep, menacing growl from the Minotaur, who steps forward, towering over everyone in the room. The golf cart crew, particularly John 420 and the Minotaur's handlers, grin wickedly as they watch their beast prepare to speak. The Minotaur's voice rumbles like thunder as he speaks. Tonight, the labyrinth ends in blood. I will break each of you, and when the dust settles, it will be my name that echoes in the halls of 1412 wrestling. No one leaves this fight unscarred. The tension in the room escalates as the Minotaur finishes, his words hanging heavy in the air. Grover, visibly sweating now, turns to the last competitor, his voice almost shaking as he says, "And now, Stone Cold Steve Austin, your thoughts?" Stone Cold Steve Austin steps forward, his signature scowl etched across his face. He takes a moment, surveying each of his opponents with cold, calculating eyes before finally locking eyes with Grover. "What?" Austin barks, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "You want my thoughts, Grover? Well, let me tell you something. I don't give a damn about destiny, and I sure as hell don't care about boiled eggs, fate, or labyrinths. The only thing that matters to Stone Cold is that 1412 championship. And tonight, I'm gonna stomp a mud hole in each of these sumbitches and walk it dry." Austin turns his gaze to Bars, pointing directly at him. "Bars, you can bring your whole damn brigade. It ain't gonna make a difference. You're gonna learn real quick that Stone Cold don't play well with others." He shifts his attention to Locke, his eyes narrowing. "And Locke, you keep talking about fate and destiny. Let me tell you something about your destiny. It ends tonight when I take that bald head of yours and whip your ass from pillar to post." Finally, Austin looks up at the Minotaur, his expression unchanged, fearless. "As for you, Minotaur, you might be big, you might be strong, but I've faced giants before, and they all fell the same way, flat on their backs after a Stone Cold stunner. And that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said so." The room is silent for a moment, the air thick with the promise of violence. The camera captures the fierce determination on Austin's face, the unwavering confidence of Locke, the seething anger of Bars, and the raw, primal fury of the Minotaur. Grover, sensing the imminent explosion of chaos, quickly wraps up the segment. Ladies and gentlemen, Grover stammers, this is going to be a main event for the ages. Don't go anywhere, because this is 14-12 wrestling, and anything can happen. The camera fades out on the tense standoff between the competitors, the anticipation for their impending battle at an all-time high. The lights dim as the anticipation for the main event reaches a fever pitch. The audience buzzes with excitement, knowing that this match will determine who will face Majin Buu for the 14-12 championship. Daphne Blake, standing in the center of the ring, raises the microphone to announce the participants. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is a fatal four-way match, and the winner will become the #1 contender for the 14-12 championship. Daphne's voice echoes through the arena, igniting the crowd. First, the lights dim further as eerie, ominous music begins to play. John Locke emerges from the entrance, his calm and calculating demeanor unshaken as he is flanked by the others. The group moves with unsettling synchronization, their presence adding an eerie atmosphere to the arena. Locke steps into the ring, his eyes scanning the environment with a cold, almost philosophical detachment. The audience gives a mixed reaction, some booing, others captivated by his aura of mystery. Next, the sound of clanging metal and the unmistakable growl of the Minotaur reverberates through the arena. The monstrous beast stomps out, accompanied by the entire golf cart crew, including John 420, Bobby Two Beers, Bart Gunn, Alex Trebek, Greg Biffle, and thousands of ancient Sumerians wielding chainsaws. The sight of such a chaotic entourage fills the audience with a mix of awe and fear. The Minotaur storms into the ring, his massive frame dwarfing Locke as he prepares for battle. Suddenly, the arena erupts into boos as the Anti-Boiled Egg Brigade's theme music hits. Bars marches out with his brigade in tow. Cliff O'Malley, Donkey Lips, Doug Funny, Lola Bunny, BB Rexa, Jackie Chan, Earl Sinclair, Sugar Shane Helms, Spopovich, and Akeem the African Dream. The sheer numbers of the brigade create an overwhelming visual as they surround the ring, each member ready to ensure Bars emerges victorious. Bars steps into the ring, his eyes filled with anger and determination, clearly focused on taking down his opponents. Finally, the sound of breaking glass shatters through the arena, and the crowd explodes as Stone Cold Steve Austin's music blares through the speakers. The Texas Rattlesnake marches to the ring with a no-nonsense attitude, flipping the bird to Bars, Locke, and the Minotaur as he passes by. The audience is firmly behind Austin, chanting his name as he climbs into the ring, ready to deliver some Texas-sized beatdowns. The bell rings, and all hell breaks loose. Locke and Bars immediately engage in a brutal exchange of punches, while Austin wastes no time going after the Minotaur, hammering away at the beast's midsection with stiff punches. The Minotaur tries to overpower Austin with sheer strength, but the veteran's experience and grit keep him in the fight. Outside the ring, the stables erupt into a brawl of their own. The others clash with the Anti-Boiled Egg Brigade and the golf cart crew, creating a chaotic scene around the ring. The audience is torn between watching the action inside the ring and the madness unfolding outside. Locke, ever the strategist, pulls Bars into a corner and drives his knee into Bars' midsection repeatedly, trying to wear him down. But Bars, fueled by his intense hatred for boiled eggs and his desire to prove himself, shoves Locke away and connects with a thunderous clothesline. Bars then turns his attention to Austin, who is grappling with the Minotaur in the opposite corner. As the Minotaur hoists Austin up for a devastating slam, Bars charges across the ring, but Austin ducks at the last second, and the Minotaur inadvertently takes Bars down with a brutal shoulder block. The impact sends Bars sprawling across the mat, and Austin capitalizes, stomping a mud hole in the Minotaur and walking it dry as the crowd roars in approval. Meanwhile, Locke, ever the opportunist, sneaks up behind Austin and attempts to lock in a sleeper hold. Austin struggles, his face turning red as Locke cinches the hold tighter, but the crowd rallies behind him, urging him to fight back. Austin drives his elbows into Locke's ribs, breaking the hold, and follows up with a series of punches, culminating in a spine buster that leaves Locke writhing in pain. As Austin stands tall, catching his breath, the Minotaur rises, shaking off the cobwebs. He charges at Austin, looking to crush him in the corner, but Austin sidesteps, and the Minotaur crashes into the turnbuckle with a thunderous impact. Seizing the opportunity, Austin pulls the Minotaur out of the corner and sets him up for the stunner. But before he can deliver the move, Bars recovers and blindsides Austin with a vicious knee to the back. Bars, now in control, lifts Austin and plants him with a spine-shattering powerbomb. He goes for the cover, but Locke dives in at the last second, breaking up the pin with a double axe handle. The crowd gasps as Locke and Bars square off again, exchanging heavy blows as they vie for control. Outside the ring, the chaos between the stables intensifies. The anti-boiled egg brigade gains the upper hand, using sheer numbers to overwhelm the others and the golf cart crew. Cliff O'Malley and Donkey Lips grab chairs, swinging them wildly at anyone who gets too close, while Spopovich delivers bone-crushing slams to the golf cart members, leaving bodies strewn around the ringside area. Back in the ring, the Minotaur, having recovered from the earlier assault, grabs Bars by the throat and lifts him high into the air. With a roar, the Minotaur slams Bars down with a chokeslam that shakes the entire ring. He goes for the cover, but Locke again breaks it up, this time locking the Minotaur in a crossface submission. The Minotaur struggles, his massive arms flailing as he tries to reach the ropes, but Locke wrenches back, determined to force the beast to tap out. Just when it seems like the Minotaur might submit, Austin recovers and kicks Locke square in the head, breaking the hold. Locke rolls out of the ring to catch his breath, leaving Austin and the Minotaur to face off once again. Austin delivers a series of rapid-fire punches to the Minotaur's head, but the beast refuses to go down. In a last-ditch effort, Austin hits the ropes and delivers a clothesline that finally takes the Minotaur off his feet. As Austin rallies the crowd, Bars crawls back into the ring, his face twisted with rage. He grabs Austin from behind and attempts to lock in a full Nelson, but Austin powers out, spins around, and kicks Bars in the gut. The crowd erupts as Austin signals for the stunner, and with a flash of brilliance, he hits it perfectly. Bars crumples to the mat, and Austin covers him for the pin. The referee drops to the mat, and the crowd counts along. 1, 2, 3. Stone Cold Steve Austin wins. The arena erupts in cheers as Austin's music hits. The anti-boiled egg brigade, stunned by their leader's defeat, retreats up the ramp as Austin climbs the turnbuckle, celebrating with his signature beer bash. He opens a can and downs it, tossing the empty can into the crowd as they chant his name. As the celebration continues, the lights dim and a spotlight focuses on the stage. Majin Buu steps out, his 14-12 championship belt draped over his shoulder, his eyes locked on Austin. The crowd's cheers turn to a tense murmur as the two men stare each other down. Austin, standing in the ring, raises his beer in a mock toast, signaling his intent to take Buu's title. Buu smirks, his confidence unshaken, as he raises the championship belt high, reminding Austin of what's at stake. The tension is palpable as the show fades to commercial, with Austin and Buu locked in a silent but intense showdown that promises even more chaos and destruction when they finally meet in the ring for the 14-12 championship. Back from commercial break, the commentary team is still reeling from the chaotic events of the main event. Mr. Feeney, trying to maintain some semblance of order, starts to speak. Folks, what we just witnessed was nothing short of pandemonium. Stone Cold Steve Austin has secured his shot at the 14-12 championship, but what a battle that was with interference from every direction. Jim Ross chimes in. You said it, Mr. Feeney. I've seen a lot in my time, but this night is one for the history books. And let's not forget all the chaos from earlier. Elvis Presley getting ambushed, Katharine Isabelle losing her Divas Championship to Android 18, and let's not even get started on that Memphis street fight. Elvira adds, tonight's been a wild ride, and it's far from over. We've got so many questions left unanswered, and who knows what else could happen tonight in 14-12 wrestling. Pauly Shore, clearly enjoying the chaos, laughs, Yo, bro! This is getting way too gnarly, man. I can't wait to see what's next. Just then, the lights in the arena dim, and a somber tone falls over the crowd as Commissioner Eric Matthews makes his entrance, accompanied by his towering bodyguard, the Egyptian mummy. The pair walks to the ring, with the mummy's presence adding an eerie undertone to the scene. Eric looks serious as he grabs the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen," Eric begins, "I have some unfortunate news. After the ambush by Rita Repulsa and her forces earlier tonight, President Freddy Krueger has disappeared. We don't know his whereabouts, and 1412 Wrestling is in a state of chaos." The crowd murmurs with concern, and Eric continues. "With Rita taking over, things are more unpredictable than ever. But as your commissioner, I promise to do everything in my power to bring order back to this show." Suddenly, the iconic sound of Baby Elephant Walk plays, and Alf makes his entrance to a huge pop from the crowd. The lovable alien saunters down to the ring with his ancient relic in hand, waving to the fans with a big grin on his face. He steps into the ring, grabbing another microphone. "Hey, Eric, my man," Alf greets the commissioner. "I've got something that might help with all this craziness. You see, I've got this nifty ancient relic here, and it can grant you one wish. You can wish for Freddy to come back, or even wish Rita away from 1412 Wrestling altogether." The crowd buzzes with anticipation as Eric seems to consider the offer. But then, with a smirk, Eric responds, "You know what, Alf? As tempting as that sounds, I've got something else in mind. I wish for a monkey and a pastrami sandwich." The crowd erupts in laughter as Alf shrugs and waves his relic. Out of nowhere, a monkey appears on Eric's shoulder, chowing down on a pastrami sandwich that has materialized in his hand. The monkey grins as the crowd cheers, but the lighthearted moment is quickly interrupted. Dave Meltzer's theme music hits, and the notorious wrestling journalist strides down to the ring with a scowl on his face. Grabbing a microphone, Meltzer wastes no time in voicing his displeasure. "This show has been an absolute disgrace. The in-ring work rate is atrocious. The storylines are nonsensical. And quite frankly, this entire promotion is a joke." Before Meltzer can continue, the sound of Real American blasts through the speakers, and the crowd explodes as Hulk Hogan storms out from the back, wielding a sledgehammer. Hogan wastes no time and charges the ring, leveling Meltzer with a devastating sledgehammer shot. The crowd goes wild as Hogan stands over Meltzer's fallen body, raising the microphone to his lips. "Listen up, dudes," Hogan shouts. "You can criticize all you want, brother, but there's one thing you'll never be able to beat. Hulk Hogan chewable vitamins." The crowd cheers as Hogan proudly promotes his vitamins, but before he can finish, the sound of a prehistoric car horn echoes through the arena. The Flintstones, Fred and Barney, make their entrance, driving their Stone Age car right down to the ring. They hop out and grab microphones, announcing with authority, "This show is officially under new management. The Flintstones are here for a hostile takeover." Before the Flintstones can continue, they're ambushed from behind by the Tanner family, Danny, DJ, Stephanie, and Michelle, who rush the ring and begin attacking Fred and Barney. Danny grabs a microphone and shouts, "We're here to clean up this show, starting by banning marijuana from 1412 Wrestling. Sign our petition, folks, and help us bring family values back to wrestling." The chaos only escalates as Soda Popinski's music hits, and the muscle-bound boxer charges the ring, mowing down the Tanners and the Flintstones with powerful punches. The crowd is in a frenzy as Soda begins attacking fans in the front row. Back from commercial break, the commentary team is still... The chaos only escalates as Soda Popinski's music hits, and the muscle-bound boxer charges the ring, mowing down the Tanners and the Flintstones with powerful punches. The crowd is in a frenzy as Soda begins attacking fans in the front row, causing mayhem and confusion. Just then, the unmistakable sound of New Jack's theme blares through the arena, and the ECW legend sprints out from the back, pushing a shopping cart full of weapons. New Jack immediately dives into the ring, swinging a kendo stick and taking out anyone in his path. Eric, the Egyptian mummy, Alf, Eric's new monkey, Soda Popinski, Hogan, the Flintstones, and the Tanners all fall victim to New Jack's onslaught. The crowd is on its feet, roaring with excitement as New Jack lays waste to everyone in sight. As the ring and ringside area become a war zone, Electabuzz emerges from the entranceway, holding a massive tub of ice cream. Ignoring the chaos around him, Electabuzz sits down in the middle of the carnage and begins devouring the mountain of ice cream, much to the confusion and delight of the crowd. The pandemonium doesn't stop there, as Chucky Finster's entrance music hits and the timid Rugrats character nervously makes his way to the ring. Grabbing a microphone, Chucky begins to cut a promo. I just wanted to say, toys are really great, and we should all play with them more. Before Chucky can finish his thought, the arena goes dark. A spotlight appears on the stage, and Mulder from the X-Files emerges, dragging the lifeless corpses of Candyman and Bloody Mary behind him. He steps into the ring and raises the microphone to his lips, declaring, "I've destroyed these ancient entities, along with Area 51. The truth is out there, and it's right here in 1412 Wrestling." Suddenly, Mr. Feeney's voice booms through the arena, cutting through the chaos. "We're out of time! We've got to wrap this up, folks!" He frantically tries to regain control, but the scene in the ring is nothing short of pandemonium. The camera pans around the ring, capturing the madness. New Jack standing tall over a pile of bodies, Electabuzz still eating ice cream, Chucky looking confused, and Mulder holding the corpses of Candyman and Bloody Mary. As the screen begins to fade to black, Mr. Feeney hastily recaps the current champions, shouting over the chaos. "Remember, folks, Majin Buu is still the 1412 champion. Scottie, Pippen, and Michael Jordan are the tag team champions. Shredder holds the laser gun surfing battle championship. Heifer Wolf is the competitive eating champion. The Ninja Turtles and Joey Tribbiani are the stable champions. Katharine Isabelle lost the Divas Championship to Android 18, and Tyrannosatan is the sword fighting champion." The show goes off the air with a final shot of Austin glaring at Majin Buu, still hungry for his title shot, while the chaos continues to unfold in the background. The crowd is left in shock, wondering what could possibly happen next week in 1412 Wrestling.